Hello friends, welcome back. Again I am continuing with a practical demonstration of whatever we studied from video 19 to video 46. Okay, in first part I covered strongly type helpers. We applied bootstrap design to our views. We defined the view models also, and we completed with a validation part also. Okay, and in this part what I'm going to do, we are going to do a model binding. Okay, so let us see this part practically. So let me open a Visual Studio. See, and one more mistake is done by me here. Actually, while applying this CSS classes for validation, I specified display block. It should be display none, means I do not want to show anything. Okay, so extremely sorry for that part. And now for model binding, what we are going to do, we have to write a code in our controller. What model binding means? Model binding means collecting the HTTP request value in our model. Okay, so we already defined login view model, we define a marks view model and personal view model, and we are going to collect our data in this respective models. Okay, so first of all let me import the namespace. So using practical demo.models. Okay, and here as you can see the post method of login, we are collecting the data using traditional approach. We used form collection here. So instead of that, we are directly going to collect the data in our model. So let me comment this part and let us write another code. So here instead of this form collection, what will I say? Login view model, and let us create an object of this. So say model, it can be anything. So just I am specifying the model. Now here how will you check the values in model? See, our model has a property, username property. Okay, our data will goes in this username property, because here in our login view we define our HTML element using strongly type helper. And what this strongly type helper does, it will assign the name attribute the same name as our property name. So our property name is what? Username. Here our property name is password. So automatically our data get collected in our model because the HTML element name and model property name is what? Same. So model dot password. Okay, so what we are doing, if it match with this credential with that is admin and password is 12345, we are storing the username in session variable and we are redirecting to the student controller's personal action method. And if the credential do not match, in that case we are going to show the message using model state. So here I'll say model state dot add model error. Since I want to display the message model level errors, not property level error, so I'll keep this part blank, and then after you have to specify the message. So invalid credentials. So this message will appear in your validation summary. Okay, that we define in our view. Look at here. Okay, so in this area your validation message get appear. Now here we can check one more thing, whether our model is valid or not. So we can check it using using model state dot is valid property. So if your model data is valid, then only we are checking against the defined credential. If our model data is valid, again we are going to display the error message, and we are going to define it using model state dot add model error method. So here also we are going to display the model level errors. So I'll keep this part blank and then specify the error message, say invalid data. Okay, and in that case, in both the cases, we are going to display the same view. That's why I'll say return view. So it will display the login view again. Okay, so let us check this part first. Okay, let me run this. Okay, now see, here validation errors appears. Now I entered invalid username and password. So here invalid credential error message get displayed in your validation summary. Okay, now the next thing what we will do, we will change our student controller also. Here as you can see, we collected a data using primitive model binding, but here also we are going to use complex model binding, and we created a personal view model also. Okay, as you can see it here. So let us change this method. So let me comment this. Okay, sorry. Now this code is definitely going to be different. So here I have to specify my personal view model as argument. So let us create an object model. Now here I have to add the respective namespace. Okay, now what is the first step? First of all, check whether your model state is valid or not. Model state dot is valid. If it is valid, okay, first of all we'll complete the invalid part. If it is invalid, then what we want to do? We want to add the error. So here I'll say invalid personal details. Okay. Now, if my model state is valid, I want to store this model in my temp data. So as you can see here, in our older version, what we did, we kept name, address and contact separately. Now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep my entire object, and it is possible to store an entire object in temp data. So let us call it as personal, and let us assign the model to it. That's it. I think this code is quite easy now. Okay, and if it is valid, what I want to do, I want to redirect to the action marks. Okay, that is defined below this method. So if personal details are valid, we are storing it into the temp data, and we are redirecting to the next action method. And if the personal details are invalid, we are again going to display the same view to the user, that is personal details view. Now here again we are going to change this post method of marks. So let us comment this part and let's write the code. So here also what we are going to do, we are going to collect it in marks view model. Let us create object model. Now here also what you will check, whether your model state is valid or not, means whether your model data is valid or not. Okay, using model state property of your controller. So if it is valid, then what you want to do, as you can see here in this method, you are storing the details of mark in separate temp data. So here what will I do, I'll create a temp data which will store an entire object. Say temp data marks is equal to model. Okay, and we are redirecting to the display result method. And if my model state is invalid, we are displaying the error message. So model state dot add model error comma invalid marks. Okay, and we are going to display the same view again. So I hope you got this. Now if you look at here, let us have a look to our marks get action. Okay, for that we have defined this route, means for this action method we define the marks detail route or marks detail URL pattern. Okay, here also for personal we define personal detail URL pattern. So whenever we are posting to the same action, okay, first of all we will run this so it will be more clear to you what I am saying. See, first of all we will log in, say admin, then 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, it will redirect to you to the personal detail page. Here you will define your personal details, say Mumbai. Okay, and let me enter 10-digit contact number. Okay, now if I click save, okay, my data is not posted. Okay, why this happens? Because if you look at the page source, see to which action it is posted. It is posted to student/personal details, and here my action name is what? My post action name is what? Personal only. That's why this action method is not executing, and same thing is going to be happen with a marks also. So what we have to do, we have to specify the same route for this method also. Okay, now in the same way I have to specify this route for marks post action. Okay, now it will work definitely perfect. Okay, now let us check this again. See, let us enter valid credentials 4 5. Okay, now let us enter the name, say XXX, address say Delhi, and contact number is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. If I do not enter a digit, 10 digits, then it will show you an error message. Okay, so you should define the custom error message. I didn't define it. See, now it get redirect to the marks page. Now enter the theory marks, practical marks, and oral marks. Now let us say save. Now here it is showing you the details in your table. Now currently it is not showing. Why? Let us have look our display result method. So let us switch to our display result view. Okay, so let us say go to view. Now as you can see here in this view, our data is retrieved from this temp data theory, temp data practicals, okay, temp data SNAME. And what we did in our student controller, we removed this temp data variable. We kept our entire model in temp data personal and in temp data marks. Okay, and what we did here, we perform all the calculation in our view. We calculated the total, we calculated the percentage. Then we are displaying the data from two different models. Okay, so my view is very complicated. So what we can do, we can create one more view model that will combine the details of personal view model. As you can see here, it will combine the details of personal view model, and as well as it will combine the details of marks view model. So my third view model will combine the details of marks view model and personal view model, as well as it will contain the calculation of total and percentage. Okay, so it will be more clear and less complicated, and as well as your data part gets separated from your view, and calculation part also get separated. Okay, and as well as here you are specifying or you are using the data from temp data, and that's why you are not getting the advantage of IntelliSense, and this view is again not a strongly typed view also. Okay, so we are going to create this view strongly typed view to get an advantage of IntelliSense. Okay, and for that what we are going to do, we are going to pass this view model from display result. So as I told you, let us create a third model that will combine the details of personal and marks view model. Say add class. So let us call that model as marksheet view model. Okay, now I already explained you the concept of view model. If you are not aware with that part, please watch the video of ViewModel. Okay, so basically ViewModels are used to combine the details of two models and to perform the calculation. Okay, now here, as I told you, I want to combine the marks view model and personal view model here. So for that, what will I do? I'll create a two properties. One will be of type personal view model, so let us call it as personal, and another will be of type marks view model. Okay, so let us call it as marks. Okay, you can name it anything, even you can name it as personal view model also. And here we will write a method that will calculate the total. So public int total. Now how will I get a total? I'll get a total from this marks. Okay, because this marks is of type marksheet view model, and marksheet view model has the details of theory marks, practical marks and oral marks. So so marks dot okay, what I did mistakenly, I specified it as of type marksheet view model. It should be marks view model. So marks dot theory plus marks dot practical plus marks dot oral. Okay, this will give you a total. Now I want to calculate the percentage. So public float percent. Okay, now we already calculated the total using total method. So what we have to do, just give call to this total method, no need to calculate it again, and divided by 3, divided it by 3. Now since total is also integer and 3 is also integer, you will never get result in a fraction. We have to say 3.0, but 3.0 is again treated as double, so to convert it into the float, just add the suffix f. Okay, now we completed with marksheet view model. Now what is the next part? Next part, we have to change our code in display result. So what we have to do, whatever there in our temp data marks and in temp data personal, we want to assign it to our marksheet view model object. Okay, so let me create a marksheet view model object first. So let us call it as model. Now it has two properties. One is of type personal view detail and another is of type marks view model. But our temp data is of type object. See, if you try this, model dot personal is equal to temp data of personal. This will generate an error. Okay, because temp data is of type what? Object. Look at here, look at the error. The last line cannot implicitly convert object to personal view model. So what we have to do, we have to typecast it here, say as personal view model. So as operator is used to typecasting the reference type. So marks is equal to temp data of marks as marks view model. Okay, now what we did, we fetch a data from temp data and we assign it to our marksheet view model properties. And now I'll pass this model to my view. So my view will be what? My view will be strongly typed view. And to get an IntelliSense on our display result view, what I have to do? I have to declare this model here, that is marksheet view model here. Okay, now there is no necessity of using this calculation. Let me comment this part. Okay, now what we will do here, how will I get a student name now? Again I'll comment this part. Now my student name is in my model. So here I have to say model dot, see, you will not get name directly. Your model has a personal property which is of type personal view model and it has a name property. Okay, in the same way you will get address also. So model dot personal dot address. Similarly you can display the contact also. Now to my table I am going to apply the bootstrap class. So say class table, say table, and again I'll apply one more class, that is table dash stripped. Okay, now here again we are going to use the model. So how will I get a marks detail? So our model has marks property and it has theory property. So in the same way you have to use other part. So for practical, and now for oral. Okay, and some method is already there in our model, so you have to say total. Okay, now since it is method, don't forget to put a open close round bracket. Similarly for percentage, you have to say model dot percent. Okay, so we're done with this. Now we got an IntelliSense also, and it is quite easy for us. And since we get an IntelliSense, there will be compile time checking. Now here mistakenly I wrote personal, it should be percent, right? Okay, now so let us run this part again. Now see, first of all we'll again follow the same process. First of all we will put a credentials. Now see here, we will enter the details. Now for label, suppose you want the different captions. For label, if you want a different caption, what you can do, you can specify the display attribute or display data annotation. Okay, so for display annotation you have to specify it here on your model. Okay, let me show you. I'll just show you for single property. You may remember this, we already studied this part. So display name is equal to contact number. Okay, so let us run it again. Actually it is taking time. See, 1 2 3 4 5, say login, I don't save, look at here, contact number appear. Okay, so to change the caption of label you can use display data annotation. Let me enter the name here, Parag, say Delhi, and let me enter the valid contact number. Okay, 10-digit contact number, say save. See, now enter theory marks, say 85, then 75, then 80. Okay, again say save. Just have a look. Okay, total is also right, even my percentage is also right. You got the name correctly, even address also get correctly. Okay, now here you may got the concept of view model clearly. Okay, in marksheet view model we combine the data. Okay, we put all the calculation in our view model, and as well as our view also become a strongly typed view, and we get an advantage of IntelliSense and compile time checking also. Now let us add little bit jQuery animation effect to our table. Okay, so what will I do? I'll wrap this part in one div. So say div, let me assign ID, say marks. Okay, you can assign any name to it. This is for our purpose. Now here what I want to do, I want to give the slide down effect to this div. Okay, so here I have to write little bit JavaScript. First of all I have to find this ID using ID selector. Okay, then after I have to use jQuery methods, and this code is related to this view only. Okay, and as we studied in jQuery, we should have a reference of jQuery file first, and then only we can add our own jQuery code. But there is already a reference of jQuery file in layout view. Okay, so what we can do, we actually want our code to be injected here in our layout. So for that we can use sections. Okay, so sections are used to inject a view content in our layout view. So let us define a section. So @section, say my section, or say my script, since we are writing a script, my script. So don't forget to specify this opening curly bracket on the same line. Now when our DOM tree is ready, after that we want to give an animation effect. So for that I have to write everything on document.ready event. So document.ready, and then after function, open close round bracket and curly bracket. Okay, so let me stop this application first. Now what mistake I did, I have to enclose everything in what? Script tag, right? Now using ID selector, we first of all select that ID. So $hash, and what is our ID of div? That is marks. So marks, and here I'll say slide down, and let us give a time here. Okay, now don't forget to render this section in layout view. So here I'll say @render section, then your section name, and not my every view have this section, so that's why I specified second argument as false. Now remember this thing, we want the script code to be injected after the reference of this jQuery file. That's why I render this section here. So my jQuery code get injected here in my layout view. So let us run this part again and let us check our output, whether that slide down effect get applicable or not. Now again we will start from the beginning. Say admin 125 password. Let me enter the name. Say Parag. Say Delhi. Let me enter the contact number. Okay, say save. Let us enter the marks. Say 80, 75. Say save. Okay, actually it do not get applied. Why? Because initially my div is visible. What slide down and slide up does, it will hide and show your content. So what I have to do, I have to make this part invisible first. So for that, here I'll write inline CSS. So here I'll say style display none. Okay, initially I say display none. So initially it will be what? It will be invisible, and then after, when my document get ready, the slide down effect will be applied. So let us check it again. So we might have to enter the code again, okay, because the data of temp data will be lost every time when we read it. Okay, so let us start from login view. Sorry, extremely sorry. Okay, our default route is what? Account controllers login action method. Actually it is taking too much time. So what will I do? I'll terminate the app. Okay, let me continue. Yes, now it is working. Say admin password. Now let me enter the name, address and contact number. So let us enter the marks. See, you got a slide down effect. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, and whatever we studied, all parts, all concepts get revised, and you'll understand also how to apply this concept. Okay, just as an assignment, as I told you in the last video, try to create your own custom validator, both client side and server side, and as well as create your own custom HTML helper for submit button and use in this video, and try to solve this assignment yourself. Okay, and if you have any comments or any doubts, please write it into the comment section, and once you're done with your code, please share it in a comment. Okay, so thank you. In next video we are going to study one more interesting topic in MVC. Thank you very much.